Welcome once again to my channel and welcome once again to physics optional class, and we will start today with a new concept which is semi empirical mass formula. But before that you must understand this thing that these apps should be uninstalled from your mobile while preparing for UPSC CSE, that is PUBG should be uninstalled. Although it is banned by the government, still some people use it. Okay, by some means it can be used. So PUBG should be uninstalled because it is a very time consuming game. Okay, even if you try to quit by playing one game, someone will invite you to the team, and after someone invites you to the team, you will again start playing. Okay, so it is a social addiction. So PUBG you should quit, this OKC Tinder you should quit, TikTok you should quit. Although the government has banned these, some for some other reason they have banned it, saying that it was Chinese. But actually, even after banning the apps, some of these apps are working. Like PUBG is working still. Both global and Indian version are working. So PUBG is working. TikTok is also working. Okay, by some means, without using VPN also we can use them. Okay, so uninstall these apps. OKC Tinder, these are not banned apps, but you should avoid these because these will ultimately lead you towards a bad character person, and also your time and money will be wasted, and many scams are there in these apps. OKC and Tinder apps, many scammy girls are there in these apps. Okay, so many scammy girls and boys are there, so they will loot you of many your precious money. Okay, and your character will also be lost. So these second number apps should be avoided. Instagram should be there, but it should be of limited use and limited texting. Okay, Instagram should be of limited use and limited texting, and Facebook, that is also limited use and limited texting. Okay, so this is the thing. Now semi empirical mass formula. Von Weizsäcker obtained a formula which is called a semi empirical mass formula, and it is used for expressing atomic mass of a nuclide. Okay, atomic mass of a nuclei in terms of series of binding energy terms. It is given as mza. Okay, this is isotopic mass of the nucleus. Okay, mza means isotopic mass of the nucleus. So mza. Okay, z is the atomic number, a is the atomic mass number, m is the isotopic mass of the nucleus. So both these representations are there. This representation is also there for isotopic mass, and this representation is also there for isotopic mass. So z times mh means mass of hydrogen atom multiplied by z. Z means atomic number. Okay, atomic number of the nucleus, which is over here. Okay, and a minus z is total number of neutrons. So a minus z into mn minus eb. Now this formula you have already learned. Mn is the mass of each neutron and eb is the binding energy. Now you have already learned this formula. This is not a new formula. If you bring the binding energy term over here, and if you bring the binding energy term over here and isotopic mass term over here, okay, then you will get the binding energy formula, which is the same as obtained in the previous lectures. So it is nothing that I have just put the binding energy term on the RHS and the isotopic mass term on the LHS. What was the formula of binding energy? Binding energy formula was ZMH plus A minus ZMN minus MZA. Okay, in the binding energy formula, what used to come? In the binding energy formula, ZMH used to come plus A minus Z Mn used to come, right, and minus MZA used to come. So I have just put the EB over here and MZA term over here. Okay, so we get this after doing this manipulation. We get this. Now where this is very clear, mza is equal to mass of an atom whose nucleus contains z proton and minus z neutrons. This is very clear. Mass of an atom. Okay, isotopic mass of an atom. And instead of mass of a nucleus, you should say mass of an atom, because you have added the mass of the electrons also. While deriving the formula we had learned this. Okay, while deriving the formula we had learned this, that this is the mass of the atom instead of nucleus. Although in the some time ago I had said it to be nucleus, but it is not nucleus, it is mass of the atom. Okay, isotopic mass of the atom, which contains z electrons also. So mass of z electrons is also added in it. So mza, mass of an atom whose nucleus contains z proton and a minus z neutrons, Mn is equal to mass of a neutron, Eb is equal to binding energy of the nucleus. Now this Eb term contains the binding energy on account of electrons also. So Eb term contains the binding energy on account of electrons, but the binding energy on account of electrons is very low. Binding energy on account of electrons is very low. So we only take the binding energy of the nucleus because it is a negligible term. Binding energy on account of electron is a negligible term. So that's why we take binding energy of the nucleus only. The binding energy Eb is determined on the basis of following assumptions. So binding energy Eb is determined on the basis of following assumptions which are given below. The nucleus is like a drop of incompressible fluid. This is liquid drop model basically. Okay, liquid drop model. So nucleus is like a drop of incompressible fluid. You know this very well that fluid comprises of liquids and gases. Liquids and gases both together are called as fluid. Okay, but the gases, their volume gets changed with increase in pressure. For gases, the volume gets changed with increase in pressure, but for liquid, the volume doesn't change with increase in pressure. So a liquid is almost incompressible, and an ideal liquid is called as completely incompressible. An ideal liquid is called as 100% incompressible. Okay, so nucleus is, you must have learned this in fluid mechanics in the lower classes. Okay, so the nucleus is like a drop of incompressible fluid. This is very clear to you. Nuclear force is charge independent. Okay, nuclear force, the nuclear force which acts between neutrons and neutrons, neutrons and protons, and protons and protons. Okay, so between neutrons and neutrons also the nuclear force will act. Although neutrons and neutrons are zero charged, okay, they don't have charge, but the nuclear force between neutron and neutron, neutron and proton, and proton and proton, all are going to be the same. So nuclear force is charge independent. It is independent of the charge. It is a short range force, and it has tendency to saturate. I had already told you this in the previous class, that why the nuclear force has a tendency to saturate, because the inside the nucleus, the nucleon which is diametrically opposite, it does not interact, it does not take part in the nuclear force. Okay, it is not interacting with the help of nuclear force. In a nucleus, I had already told you this, that in a nucleus, the nucleon which is in the neighborhood of the nucleon, okay, the nucleon which is in just neighborhood, only that interacts in the nuclear force. But the nucleon which is diametrically opposite, it does not interact with the help of nuclear force. Okay, instead electrostatic repulsion in case of a proton-proton interaction takes place. Okay, in case of a proton-proton interaction, instead in this large distance, the electrostatic repulsion will take place. Okay, because of positive and positive charges on protons. So this is the thing which I had already told you in the previous class. So nuclear force is a charge independent short range, and it has tendency to saturate. I had already told you. So nuclear forces are like forces of surface tension in a liquid. Now in a liquid, the surface tension, what does it do? It tries to bind the liquid. It tries to reduce the surface area. Okay, surface tension has a tendency to reduce the surface area of the liquid, and because of this surface tension, the bubbles of air in a liquid are spherical in shape. The bubbles of air in a liquid are spherical in shape. Why? Because of surface tension. Because of surface tension, it tries to minimize the surface area, and minimum surface area is for a spherical shape. Okay, so nuclear forces are also like that, are like forces of surface tension in liquid. Means most of the nuclei are spherical in shape. Why? Most of the nuclei are spherical in shape because the spherical shape has the minimum surface area. So nuclear forces can be compared to the surface tension in a liquid. Okay, shell model of nucleus is valid. So based on these four assumptions, the shell model of nucleus we are going to learn in the upcoming classes. Shell model of nucleus will be learned in the upcoming classes, but based on these four assumptions, number 1, number 2, number 3 and number 4, the binding energy of the nucleus can be determined. Now the calculation of binding energy is something as given below. Volume binding energy. Nucleons are held together by attractive nuclear forces. You know this very well, that nucleons in a nucleus are. Now what is this volume binding energy? Volume binding energy is the binding energy term which comes on account of electrons. Volume binding energy is the term which comes on account of volume, not electrons. Sorry. So volume binding energy term comes on account of volume. So nucleons are held together by attractive nuclear forces. The mass of the nucleus is reduced, which is proportional to A. A is the atomic mass number. So mass of the nucleus is reduced, which is proportional to A. This just means that higher is the atomic mass number of the nucleus, more will be the reduction in its mass. Okay, on account of delta E is equal to delta mc square. On account of delta E is equal to delta mc square, more is the reduction in mass, more will be the energy released, and more mass is reduced in case of higher A, higher atomic mass number. In case of higher atomic mass number, more mass is reduced, because higher will be the atomic mass number, higher will be the number of nucleons, and higher will be the number of nucleons, larger will be the nuclear interactions. Okay, so in case of nucleus, in case of heavier nucleus, the reduction in mass must be more. Okay, so mass of the nucleus is reduced, which is proportional to atomic mass number A. Okay, volume V is directly proportional to A, so this term is regarded as volume binding energy. Now the binding energy will be more when more mass is reduced. Okay, so over here what is the case? Delta M is more. Okay, mass defect is more, and this is more because of A is more. Okay, and when A is more, volume is more, right? So we can clearly say that higher is the volume, clearly binding energy must be more. Okay, so volume V is proportional to A, so this term is regarded as volume binding energy or exchange energy, which is given by EV is equal to AVA, and let this be equation number 1. Okay, so your binding energy on account of volume is equal to, it is directly proportional to A, so I will instead write a proportionality constant over here, and as soon as I write a proportionality constant AV over here, I get binding energy on account of volume is equal to AV into A, and AB is equal to your 15.4941 mega electron volt, which is a constant. Now this value you have to only remember 15. After the decimal place, the value keeps on changing from book to book. After the decimal point, the value keeps on changing from book to book. So you need not remember the after decimal digits. Just remember the integral part, which is 15, which is same in all the books. This 4941 will keep on changing from book to book. So AB is equal to 15 point something, you have to remember, mega electron volt. This unit is important. Okay, so binding energy on account of volume is equal to AB into atomic mass number A. So this thing you have to remember. Now this thing, will it add to the binding energy term, or will it subtract? So clearly it will add to the binding energy term. Okay, binding energy will increase because of it. We have already seen it, because more is the reduction in mass, more is the reduction in mass, more is the binding energy. So this volume binding energy term will contribute positively. So it has basically what? It has basically your positive contribution. Okay, it has basically contribution which is positive contribution. Okay, now surface binding energy. The nucleons on the surface of the drop interact only with the nucleons on one side. Now you know this very well, that nucleons, suppose this is the nucleus which we have. Now the nucleon which is inside the nucleus, okay, which is inside the nucleus, suppose these are your nucleons. So the nucleon which is inside the nucleus will be attracted on all sides. This nucleon, this particular nucleon will be attracted on all sides equally. Okay, this particular nucleon will be attracted on all sides equally. But suppose there is a nucleon on the surface, so this nucleon on the surface will only be attracted inside the nucleus. Okay, over here there is no attraction over here because it is on the surface. So over here there are no nucleons. So over here, as there are no nucleons, so there will be no interaction on this particular side, and as there is no interaction on this particular side, so clearly what does this imply? Let us see. The nucleons on the surface of the drop interact. Drop means liquid drop model. According to liquid drop model, we are saying this. So nucleon on the surface of the drop interact only with nucleons on one side, right? So volume energy is deduced. Volume energy is deduced on the assumption that all nucleons are being attracted on all sides. Okay, so the previous thing, the volume energy which we, the binding energy on account of volume which we found out, the binding energy on account of volume we found out based on the assumption that nucleons are being attracted from all sides equally. Okay, so nucleons are being attracted from all sides equally. We have assumed this while finding this out. Okay, being attracted from all sides is the thing which we assumed over here, right? But over here in the surface binding energy, we had ignored the term. In the volume binding energy, we had ignored this fact that the nucleon on the surface will not be attracted from one side, it will only be attracted from the other side. So we had ignored this fact in the volume binding energy, but while finding the surface binding energy, we are considering this term. So the nucleon on the surface of the drop interact only with the nucleons on one side. Volume energy is deduced on the assumption that all nucleons are being attracted on all sides. Okay, so volume energy was deduced on the assumption that all the nucleons are being attracted on all sides. So it must be reduced by a factor proportional to the number of nucleons on the surface. Okay, so surface binding energy will contribute negatively to the binding energy term. Why will it contribute negatively? Because the nucleon on the surface is being attracted only on one side. Okay, in the volume term we had considered that all the nucleons including on the surface are being attracted from all sides. In the volume term we had considered like that. So clearly the volume term is greater. It is an erroneous term. Okay, error term. So clearly we will have to reduce that binding energy which was considered, that even the surface nucleon is being attracted on all sides. So we have to reduce that term. We have to remove that term from the binding energy, because the surface nucleon is not being attracted from all sides. It is being attracted only on one side. So we will have to reduce that term. So volume energy was reduced based on that. So it must be reduced by a factor proportional to the number of nucleons on the surface. Now radius of the nucleus is given by this: r is equal to r naught a to the power 1 by 3. So surface area is equal to 4 pi r square is equal to 4 pi r naught square a to the power 2 by 3. The value of r we have substituted over here. The value of r from here we have substituted over here. So surface area of the nucleus, as the nucleus is spherical in shape, the surface area of a sphere is given by 4 pi r square. So surface area of the nucleus is 4 pi r square. So r is equal to r naught a to the power 1 by 3. So in the place of r we will put r naught a to the power 1 by 3. And as soon as we put r naught a to the power 1 by 3 in the place of r, we get something like this: 4 pi r naught square a to the power 2 by 3. And surface energy Es will be proportional to this, because it will contribute negatively. So negative sign will come over here, because the surface nucleon is being attracted only on one side. So there is a reduction, because in the volume term we had assumed that this nucleon on the surface is also being attracted from all the sides equally. We had assumed in the volume term, but in reality from this side no interaction is taking place, because it is on the surface. So this term will in turn contribute negatively. So that's why negative sign has come over here. Okay, so that's why negative sign has come over here. So surface energy Es is equal to minus k 4 pi r naught square a to the power 2 by 3. Okay, so minus k will come, and surface energy will be proportional, because more is the surface area, more are the nucleons on the surface, more is the surface area of the nucleus, more are the nucleons on the surface of the nucleus. And as more is the surface area and more are the nucleons on the surface of the nucleus, so more will be the reduction. So clearly, as more will be the reduction, as more will be the reduction, so minus k means it will increase in the negative. Okay, so Es is equal to minus As a to the power 2 by 3. You have considered As to be equal to this much. Okay, this term is your As, because it is an universal constant. Now As is equal to k 4 pi r naught square. Now the value of As is 17.9439 mega electron volt, which is a constant. So on the account of surface, binding energy has reduced. So 17.9439 mega electron volt. Now only 17 you will consider over here. 0.9439 you will not consider. Why you will not consider 9439? Because it varies from book to book. So only remember 17, and after the point value, after the decimal, just put anything. Okay, it doesn't matter, because this after decimal value will vary from book to book. Okay, so As is equal to 17.9439 mega electron volt. Now Coulomb energy. A nucleus contains Z protons. If the whole charge on Z protons is uniformly distributed within the nuclear volume of radius r, then due to nuclear repulsion, Coulomb energy is. Now clearly, if the nucleus is containing Z protons, okay, the whole charge of Z protons will be uniformly distributed within the nuclear volume of the radius r. This is very clear, because inside the nucleus also, suppose here there are nucleons. So clearly the Z protons will be distributed uniformly inside the nucleus. This will not happen that only in this particular area the protons are concentrated. This doesn't happen. Okay, suppose in this particular blue area the protons are concentrated, and in this particular maroon area, okay, in this particular brown area the neutrons are concentrated, and this particular blue area protons are concentrated. This does not happen. Okay, so clearly the Z protons will be uniformly distributed within the nuclear volume of radius r. So clearly there will be a mutual repulsion between them. Why there will be repulsion? Because of electrostatic interaction between the protons. As both the protons are positively charged, so there will be electrostatic repulsion between them, because like charges repel each other. So there will be electrostatic repulsion between the protons. So due to mutual repulsion, Coulomb energy is given something like this: EC is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught 3 by 5 Z square E square over R. Okay, how this formula came you will learn in the electrostatics. Okay, in the electrostatics you will learn this formula. So your energy on account of mutual repulsion between the protons is given something like this. Now you will put in the place of R naught a to the power 1 by 3 you will put, and you will get something like this. EC is equal to minus AC Z square a to the power 1 by 3. Now Z square and a to the power 1 by 3 has remained, and this E means charge on each proton, and R naught, these are universal constants. 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught, this is also constant. 3 by 5 is also constant. So all these things are incorporated into single constant. So as all these terms are incorporated into a single constant, so it is equal to AC. So AC is equal to your 3 by 5 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught E square over R naught, which is equal to 0.7053 mega electron volt. Now you will have to remember only 0.7 in this particular value. Just remember 0.7. After the 7, 053 or 153 or 152 does not matter. So these last 3 decimal digits are not important over here. These last 3 digits are not important. Just 0.7 is important. Just put anything on the last 3. Okay. So AC is equal to your this much. This is a constant. The Coulombian repulsion tends to disrupt the nucleus. Now this is very clear. The Coulombian interaction will tend to disrupt the nucleus. So that's why a negative sign has come over here. Why a negative sign has been put over here? Because the Coulombian interaction will try to disrupt the nucleus, means it will try to reduce the binding energy. Because the nucleus will not try to bind itself, it will try to break down. Okay, it will try to break down because of Coulombian repulsion. So clearly the binding energy on account of Coulombian repulsion will be negative. It will be taken negative because its contribution in the binding energy will be negative, because it will try to reduce the binding energy of the nucleus. Okay, the Coulombian repulsion tends to disrupt the nucleus, so Coulomb energy is taken negative. Now asymmetry energy. In general, in heavy nuclei, okay, in heavy nucleus, N is much greater than Z. You must have seen this thing in the periodic table. If you look at the periodic table carefully, then you will learn this thing, that for lighter nuclei, your number of protons is equal to number of neutrons. For lighter nuclei, your number of protons is equal to number of neutrons. But in case of heavy nuclei, your number of neutrons is much greater than the number of protons. For heavy nuclei, the number of neutrons is much greater than the number of protons. Okay. So in general, in heavy nuclei, and that is number of neutrons is much greater than number of protons. In lighter nuclei, N is equal to your Z, and these nuclei are highly stable. Lighter nuclei are more stable because of this. Because in case of heavy nuclei, as the number of neutrons are much larger than the number of protons, so clearly there will be asymmetrical distribution of nucleons. Okay, there will be asymmetrical distribution of nucleons, because suppose a nucleus contains 2 protons and 2 neutrons, then there will be symmetrical distribution. Why there will be symmetrical distribution? Because equal number of protons and equal number of neutrons are there, so there will be symmetrical distribution. But suppose a nucleus is very heavy and 83 is the number of protons in it and 99 is the number of neutrons in it. Suppose such a nucleus is there, then so clearly in this nucleus there will be asymmetry. Why asymmetry? Because 83 protons are there but the neutrons are 99. Okay, so asymmetry will be there on account of distribution within the nucleus. Distribution of these nucleons within the nucleus will be asymmetrical. Okay, so in general, in heavy nuclei, N is much greater than Z. In lighter nuclei, N is equal to Z, and these nuclei are highly stable. As the number of neutrons increases, the nucleus acquires an asymmetrical character, due to which a force comes into play which reduces the volume energy. Okay, a force comes into play which reduces the volume energy. Why volume energy will be reduced? Because there will be asymmetrical distribution. So asymmetrical distribution will be there, and now asymmetrical things are not arranged properly. As they are not arranged properly, so they will take a larger area. Okay, larger volume. This reduction in energy is proportional to the square of the excess neutrons over protons, and inversely proportional to the total number of nucleons, that is mass number A. So N minus Z, what is this N minus Z? This is the difference between the number of neutrons and number of protons. So N neutrons are there and Z protons are there. So how much number of neutrons are more than protons? So that is your N minus Z, and A is your mass number. Okay. So this reduction in energy is proportional to the square of the excess of neutrons over protons. Excess of neutron over proton means N minus Z. Okay, and inversely proportional to the total number of nucleons, that is mass number A. So EA is proportional to N minus Z square over A. Now understand this thing. A force comes into play which reduces the volume energy, which we had already found out in the first thing. Okay, over here in the first column we had found out the volume energy. Okay, the volume binding energy. It will try to decrease the volume binding energy because of asymmetrical nature. Symmetrical things have more binding energy. Symmetrical nuclei have more binding energy. So this will also contribute negatively. Okay, this thing will also contribute negatively. So EA is equal to, now proportionality constant, proportionality sign removed. So constant will come minus AA. Okay, A means asymmetry. So this is the thing. Now in the place of n, just put A minus Z, because n is equal to your A minus Z. So as soon as you put n is equal to A minus Z over here, A minus Z will come, and A minus Z means A minus 2Z. Okay, so EA is equal to minus A minus 2Z whole square divided by A, where AA is your 19.3 mega electron volt, which is your constant. Okay, so this is the thing. Now we will learn about pairing energy and shear energy. Now nucleons have a tendency to exist in pairs. This is very clear. Okay, nucleons have a tendency to exist in pair. When you learn the nuclear shell model, you will understand this thing very clearly, that nucleons have a tendency to exist in pairs. Hence the nuclei with even number of protons Z and even number of neutrons N are highly stable. Why they are highly stable? Because all of them will be paired. Okay, so even number of protons means all the protons will be paired within themselves. Proton pair with proton, so all the protons will pair with themselves. And even number of neutrons means all the neutrons will pair with themselves, are highly stable. Even Z and odd n, or odd Z and even n are less stable. Why they will be less stable? Because even Z means only proton will pair up, but odd n means neutron will not pair up. Over here odd Z means protons will not pair up, even n means neutrons will pair up. So these are less stable and odd Z, odd n are least stable. Odd Z, odd n are least stable. Why? Because odd Z means that neither the protons will pair up, and odd n means that neither the neutrons will pair up. Okay, odd n means that neither the neutrons will pair up. So these are least stable. The nucleons in a nucleus exist in the form of shells, which may be filled by a certain number, okay, given by relevant selection rules. We will learn this in the nuclear shell model, that the nucleons in a nucleus exist in the form of shells, which may be filled by a certain number given by relevant selection rules. The Pauli exclusion principle, etc., etc. We will learn this. Okay, taking both the effects together, the term contributing towards volume energy is given by EP is equal to AP a to the power minus 3 by 4. Okay, so this is the thing. Okay, now this is very clear term minus 3 by 4. How a to the power minus 3 by 4 has come, you don't have to go into that. Okay, but this is very clear that your pairing energy is given like this. Okay, this is derived experimentally, so you can't find out any logic that why the pairing energy is given like this. Okay, so AP is equal to 0 for even Z odd n, okay, or odd Z even n nuclei. A is equal to odd, plus 36.5 means this AP value will change based on your whether Z is even or odd, n is even or odd. Based on that, your AP means pairing energy constant will change. Okay, so these are the values. For even n, even Z, this is the value. For odd Z, odd n, this is the value. And for means that the contribution can be 0 also, the contribution can be positive also, the contribution can be negative also. The contribution will be 0 when even Z odd n or odd Z even n, then the contribution will be 0. When even Z even n, then the contribution will be positive, because binding energy will try to increase the binding energy because of pairing energy. But in case of odd Z and odd n, the contribution will be negative because the pairing has not taken place. As the pairing has not taken place, so for odd Z and odd n, it will try to reduce the binding energy. Okay, now magicity energy. When a nuclear shell is filled by having either the number of neutrons or the number of protons equal to one of the numbers. So when a nuclear shell is filled by, when we write the nuclear configuration, when we try to write the nuclear configuration, then either the number of neutrons or the number of protons are equal to the numbers 2, 8, 20, 28, 50, 82 or 126. Okay, so these numbers are known as magic numbers, which we will learn in the nuclear shell model. That why how these numbers come, we learn in the nuclear shell model. Okay, so the number of protons or the number of neutrons, if they are equal to 2, 8, 20, 28, 50, 82 or 126, okay, one among these. Okay, so these are known as magic numbers. So this try to increase the binding energy because it will provide stability to the nucleus. So why it provides stability to the nucleus, we learn in the nuclear shell model. But for the time being, just understand that if the protons or number of neutrons, if the number of protons or number of neutrons are equal to 2, 8, 20, 28, 50, 82 or 126, any of them, then these are known as magic numbers. A small local maximum in binding energy as a function of A occurs in this case. Okay, a small local maxima in the EB versus function of A, which we had already plotted in the previous class, the graph which we had already plotted. So a small maxima occurs. In case of iron, this happens. Okay, we had learned this. So this is magicity energy which contributes positively. Okay, Em is equal to AMA. Am is the coefficient of magicity. So this contributes positively to the binding energy. Okay, collecting together the different stability or mass correction terms, we can write Weizsäcker semi-empirical mass formula as. So we can write the semi-empirical mass formula as follows: mza is equal to zmh minus a minus zmn. Oh, up to here. Now this term, what is this whole term? From here, okay, from here till here, this whole term, this whole term is clearly minus EB. Okay, so we have added all these terms, the all 6 terms. Okay, we have added all the 6 terms, 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, 6 terms we have added. Now this mass formula does not include the magicity energy, as it will be added only in case of magic nuclei, and it has also fixed value. In case of magic nuclei, this value is also fixed, that in case of magic nuclei the binding energy will increase by 1 or 2 mega electron volt. It has been found out experimentally. Thus in case of magic nuclei we can add this term, this particular term, 1 or 2 mega electron volt. Okay, so this is the thing. So in this way your Weizsäcker semi empirical mass formula is over. Okay, thank you very much. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.